All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Nigel, of course, and this is something a bit new that we're doing. It is the maiden voyage of my movie reviews, and we're starting out with a pretty good one, a movie that came out not too long ago, just a few months ago. Oh, and that is Spider-Man: No Way Home. I went to go see this actually a couple weeks ago. And I believe it is still in theaters, so if you want to check it out, you can. I went to go see it a few weeks ago. But I am just now doing a review of it, so I am a bit late. I apologize, but overall, really, really good, really solid movie. And hopefully you guys enjoy my thoughts on it, and hopefully I can convince you to check it out, because it is a really, really good movie, and I doubt any good things I say will do this movie justice, because, man, this is really, really good, really solid movie. One of the best, as perhaps one of the best MCU movies that we have. Some people have put it in the category of the best MCU movie, which may or may not be debatable, but it's definitely got to be up there for a variety of reasons. So let's get right into it. And of course, bit of a spoiler warning: if you haven't seen the movie, I do not recommend you watch this review, because I'm going to be talking about some things that happen in the movie, of course. So basically, the plot of the movie, the gist of it is that it picks off right where Far From Home left off, which I actually did not see, but I do know what happened. And when I say it picks up right where Far From Home left off, I mean like a couple minutes after Mysterio's address before he died, where he publicly revealed Peter Parker's identity, and pretty much Peter and his two friends, of course, MJ and Ned, as well as his Aunt May, and everybody connected with him, their lives are turned upside down. Some people treat him like a celebrity because he is Spider-Man. He is, the protector of New York City, as it were. Some people treat him like a menace, like a criminal. Of course, J. Jonah Jameson, who has always hated Spider-Man. And then, of course, those who believe that Mysterio was right, who see Mysterio as a hero, of course, because that is Mysterio's thing, is illusions and everything. But basically, life's difficult for Peter. People are treating him a lot differently, both good and bad, because of him not being outed as Spider-Man, to the point where he can't even get into the college he wants. So he consults Doctor Strange to craft a spell to wipe the memories clean of everyone who knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But of course, Peter messes it up, because he keeps trying to change the spell by removing different people, like, but Aunt May still has to remember me, and MJ, and then Ned, and then Happy Hogan. Eventually, the spell that Doctor Strange is casting gets out of control and haywire, to the point where it opens up different dimensions, and from there, different people start to come through, who different people were used to seeing. For starters, there's Otto Octavius, is Dr. Octopus, aka, and then there's Green Goblin, and then there's Electro, and then there's Lizard, and then there is I think that's it, Goblin, Electro, Lizard, Dr. Octopus, and forgot Sandman, of course. So new host of baddies is that Spider-Man pretty much has to send home by Doctor Strange's orders, but he eventually learns that they're destined to die in their universe where they fought their Spider-Man, and which is going to be important for later. So Peter wants to rehabilitate them. He wants to save them, but in doing so, unfortunately makes things worse as Norman Osborn, who shifts into his Green Goblin persona, pretty much causes the villains to rise up against Spider-Man and pretty much turn on him, and from there things get a whole lot worse, especially when Peter's Aunt May dies, unfortunately. And then as MJ and Ned, who have helped out Peter, try to find him, they open, and they accidentally open different dimensions, and they accidentally recruit the two other Spider-Men, and of course Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and then Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and who sympathize with Peter because, which when I say Peter, I mean Tom Holland. Peter, of course, and sympathize how they lost things and how, of course, the job's not easy. It's kind of similar to like Into the Spider-Verse, but of course this is MCU, not an animation, and this is 3 different Peter Parkers and not different spider beings, if that makes any sense. So they pretty much work to get the villains back to where they're supposed to be, but also develop cures for them. They fight at the newly being crafted Statue of Liberty, and eventually everyone's rehabilitated, and Peter 1, which is of course Tom Holland, almost kills the Goblin, because Goblin is directly responsible for killing Aunt May, of course, but he stopped, and when Doctor Strange, who Peter trapped in the mirror dimension, comes back, Peter convinces him, all right, make a new spell, wipe everyone's memory of who knew that I was Spider-Man, no matter what, no edits, no changes, nothing. And Doctor Strange does it. Everyone's able to return home from their different dimensions. And sadly, nobody remembers Peter Parker at all. They don't remember his identity. He has Spider-Man, but even his close friends, such as MJ and Ned and Happy Hogan, don't remember him as Spider-Man at all. So he pretty much rebuilds from there. So that's about the gist of it, and I know I did kind of breeze through the plot a little bit, but seeing it unfold on the screen is really solid, and it's really, I feel like it's really defines Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And the thing about Tom Holland's Spider-Man is that for a lot of people it didn't really connect as well as the other ones. And part of that is nostalgia, let's be honest. But the other part was that he relied too much on like Stark Tech, and Nick Fury got involved as well. But here he really stands on his own, really matures as both a teenager or about to be a young adult. And of course Spider-Man, so he really comes into his own. So with the MCU, what I've learned about the MCU is sometimes you gotta trust the process. Even if stuff in the MCU that's being introduced doesn't make sense at first, once they get to a certain point and you see how things evolve, that's when things start to tie together. And it's awesome that the MCU does that. They tie different things together, and it's woven really well here on display. And of course, a lot of the stars of the movie, the things people came to see, all the classic villains are back. Of course, William Dafoe returns as Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, and he's just as good as ever. And then, of course, Alfred Molina returns as Dr. Octopus, as Jamie Foxx returns as Electro, etc., etc. And even with the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which weren't as great as some of the other Spider-Man stuff, I think they're done justice here, and they're done really well. Their characters and everything are done really well in this movie, which is fantastic to see. And even though Tom Holland at first I feared would be an afterthought because of everything he introduced, one of my fears was, how is Tom Holland really gonna shine in this movie when a lot of people are kind of there, it felt like, for other stuff like the classic villains or potential Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield appearances. But Tom Holland really stepped up to the plate. he really did his thing, and he really delivered. And Tom Holland definitely slowly becoming one of my favorite actors. And it's kind of weird because he's not that much older than me. He's only got maybe a couple years on me, but still really awesome to see his evolution throughout the MCU, how he's becoming more mature, or he's becoming less of like the goofball and everything, and less of like that kid, and more or of that young adult, young man, which is awesome to see. And we even got the new Spider-Man suit at the end, which looks more like the classic suit. And he's able to rely on himself more, which has always been the thing about Spider-Man, is which I've always loved about Spider-Man, is that it's a ground-up story where he didn't have the billions of dollars that Tony Stark had. He didn't have, the super soldier serum like Captain America, stuff like that. And all he had was the radioactive spider, which gave him his powers. And then everything else he had to build himself, build his own web fluids, his own suit, his own tech, all that from the ground up. And he did it at least in the comics. So to see Tom Holland not doing that in the movies was a bit disappointing at first, but to see where it led up here was really, really solid to see. And honestly, it's to the point where I can't find a single thing wrong with the movie, other than I wish it was longer just so we could see the characters even more. But what can you do? It's a really awesome movie. It's definitely, when people say this is one of, if not the best MCU movies out there, they're not exaggerating, they're not hyperbole, anything like that. It's really solid. And the fact that, of course, Disney and Sony were able to reach an agreement with that was really cool to see. If I did have one nitpick, it's that I wish Venom had some more time to shine. Of course, when I talk about Venom, I'll talk about the Tom Hardy Venom, the recent Venom, who we saw being teased to have an interaction with Spider-Man at the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage, but that didn't end up happening. He went back to his universe, and it was kind of a throwaway, funny mid-credit scene. I wish he would have either like got into the fold, or at least appeared or made an appearance in like the main movie. But that's just me, and that's honestly kind of a nitpick. Other than that, really solid movie. It is still in theaters, so I definitely recommend you check it out. And can't wait to see how Tom Holland does in the upcoming Uncharted movie, which I talked about on System Shock Radio. But that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Did you like the movie? Did you dislike the movie? Did you agree with my sentiments? Did you not agree with my sentiments? All that good stuff, and I will see you guys later. Peace.